A dead man is flying through flak. An 88mm shell fragment tears through the engine compartment and slices the oil line clean in two. The Rolls-Royce Merlin is bleeding out. Without oil, it has maybe 90 seconds before it seizes solid. After that, the propeller becomes a 400-pound anchor, and the P-51 Mustang stops being a fighter. It becomes a falling brick. Carr has one choice. He yanks the canopy back, rolls the dying Mustang inverted, and drops into the frozen Czechoslovakian sky. At 8,000 feet, the parachute snaps open. Beneath him, enemy territory stretches in every direction, 200 miles behind German lines. No radio, no food, no water, no weapon except a .45 pistol with 7 rounds. It's November in Central Europe. At night, the temperature falls below freezing. The math is unforgiving. American pilots shot down over occupied territory have a 23% chance of making it home. The other 77% disappear into prisoner camps or into unmarked graves. Bruce Carr is about to shatter every one of those numbers, because in 4 days, he won't just escape. He will steal one of the most advanced fighter aircraft in the German arsenal and fly it back to Allied lines. Bruce Ward Carr is born on January 28, 1924, in Union Springs, New York. Nothing about his childhood stands out, except this. At 15 years old, in 1939, he learns to fly. The timing matters. That same year, Germany invades Poland. World War II begins. A 15-year-old farm kid in upstate New York can know that within 5 years he'll be fighting Messerschmitts over Europe. But something in him understands that flying is about to become the most important skill a young man can have. Not in a military program, not in a classroom. A local crop duster named Earl lets him take the controls of a battered biplane. One summer afternoon is enough. Carr is hooked. By 16, he has more flight time than most Army Air Corps cadets. September 3rd, 1942, Carr enlists in the United States Army Air Forces at 18. At flight training, his instructor turns out to be the same man who taught him to fly. Earl has joined up, too. He looks at Carr's logbook, sees 240 flight hours already logged, and pushes him straight into the accelerated program. By August 1943, Carr is a flight officer. By February 1944, he's in England with the 380th Fighter Squadron, 363rd Fighter Group, 9th Air Force. His assignment, the P-51 Mustang. The Mustang is the finest prop-driven fighter ever built. It can fly 1,650 miles with drop tanks, far enough to escort bombers from England to Berlin and back. Top speed, 437 miles per hour. Ceiling, over 41,000 feet. 6-inch, 50 caliber machine guns with nearly 2,000 rounds. Enough firepower to erase an enemy aircraft in seconds. Before the Mustang arrives, daylight bombing is a slaughter. In October 1943, the 8th Air Force loses 60 bombers over Schweinfurt in a single mission. Without escort, B-17s and B-24s are easy prey. The P-51 changes the war. For the first time, American fighters stay with the bombers all the way to the target and all the way home. German pilots give them a nickname, the long-nosed bastards. The Luftwaffe starts losing veteran pilots faster than it can replace them. Carr falls in love immediately. The cockpit fits perfectly. The controls are alive in his hands. The power's intoxicating. He names his aircraft Angel's Playmate, never suspecting that within 8 months he'll be sitting in a cockpit filled with German labels and a swastika on the tail. March 8, 1944. Carr sees his first combat. A Messerschmitt, Bf-109 appears over Germany. Carr dives after it. The German pilot hugs the treetops. Carr follows, skimming forests at over 400 miles per hour for 40 miles. He fires, misses, fires again. One round clips the Messerschmitt's wing. The German pilot panics. He pulls up and ejects, but he's too low. The parachute never fully opens. The pilot hits the ground at 60 miles per hour. The Bf-109 smashes into a hillside. Carr flies home expecting praise. Instead, his commanding officer calls him in. "Carr, that was the most reckless flying I've ever seen. You nearly killed yourself. You're being transferred." The kill doesn't count. Technically, Carr didn't shoot the aircraft down. The pilot killed himself trying to escape. It's the first warning sign. Bruce Carr doesn't think like other pilots. Where others see danger, he sees possibility. Carr returns to base, expecting praise. Instead, his commanding officer summons him into the office. "Carr, that was the most over-aggressive flying I've ever seen. You nearly killed yourself chasing that German into the trees. You're being transferred." The victory doesn't count. On paper, Carr didn't shoot the Messerschmitt down. The pilot killed himself trying to escape. But the incident reveals something important. Bruce Carr doesn't see danger the way other pilots do. Where they see recklessness, he sees opportunity. Where they see limits, he sees suggestions. May 1944, Carr transfers to the 353rd Fighter Squadron, 354th Fighter Group, the Pioneer Mustang Group, the first American unit in Europe to fly the P-51 in combat. These are the best Mustang pilots in the war. Carr doesn't just belong here, he thrives. June 17th, 1944, 11 days after D-Day. Carr scores his first official kill, sharing credit for an FW-190 destroyed over Normandy. 2 months later, he's promoted to second lieutenant. September 12th, 1944. Carr's flight strafes a German airfield, shredding Junkers Ju-88 bombers on the ground. On the way home, they spot 30 FW-190s flying 2,000 feet below them. Carr doesn't hesitate. He dives. 3 minutes later, 3 German fighters are burning their way into the ground. When Carr's wingman takes damage, Carr breaks off and escorts him safely back to Allied territory, passing up more kills to save a fellow pilot. The Silver Star, America's second highest award for valor in combat. October 29th, 1944. Carr downs 2 Bf-109s over Germany. His confirmed tally reaches 7.5 victories. He is officially an ace. 4 days later, the streak ends. November 2nd, 1944. Carr slams into frozen Czechoslovakian soil. The landing is brutal. His ankle twists hard, badly sprained. He drags the parachute into the trees and buries the silk under leaves and dirt. The Germans will come. They always do. He has maybe 20 minutes. Carr knows the airfield he just attacked lies about 5 miles north. He knows German patrols will assume he's heading south or west, back toward Allied lines. And he knows survival now depends on doing the exact opposite of what they expect. He turns north, toward the enemy. The logic is simple and deadly. The Germans will search outward, convinced he's running away. They won't expect him to move closer to their base. And if Carr is going to live, he needs supplies, food, water, maybe a weapon. The airfield has all of it. Day 1. He moves through forest, avoiding roads, traveling only at night. His flight suit offers almost no protection from the cold. Every step sends pain through his ankle. He hasn't eaten in 18 hours. Day 2. He finds a stream and drinks. The water is so cold it numbs his throat. A German patrol passes 200 yards away. Carr lies flat in a ditch for 2 hours, unmoving, until they're gone. Day 3. Hunger becomes agony. His body burns thousands of calories just to stay warm. He's consumed nothing. Muscle begins to break down to keep him alive. By nightfall, Carr reaches a conclusion. Tomorrow he will surrender. Carr knows what surrender means. The Luftwaffe treats captured pilots differently than the Wehrmacht or the SS. Aviators follow a code. They respect other flyers, even enemy ones. Carr has spoken to men who've been held at Stalag Luftwaffe. They describe it as dull but survivable. 3 meals a day, Red Cross parcels, letters from home. A prison camp is still better than freezing to death alone in a forest. Day 4, late afternoon. Carr reaches the edge of a German airfield. He settles into a tree line overlooking the eastern perimeter. Through bare branches, he sees hangars, fuel trucks, parked aircraft, mostly Bf-109s. The plan is simple. At first light, he'll walk to the main gate with his hands raised. Then darkness falls, and Carr notices something. 80 yards from his position sits a revetment, half hidden beneath camouflage netting. Inside it rests a Focke-Wulf F-1190. 2 German mechanics work under portable lamps, their movements methodical, unhurried. Carr watches. They check the fuel, full. They start the engine. The BMW 801 radial explodes to life, its deep growl echoing across the field. They cycle the propeller, test the magnetos, run through a complete pre-flight. Then they shut it down. They cover the cockpit, and they walk away toward the main hangars. The FW-190 is ready to fly. Carr's mind starts working. He has never flown a German aircraft. He doesn't speak German. He has no idea where the controls are, how the engine starts, or how the landing gear retracts. But he knows how to fly. More than 500 combat hours. Every airplane follows the same rules. Throttle, stick, rudder pedals. Lift doesn't care what language the labels are written in. And in front of him sits a fully fueled fighter aircraft. Unguarded. The surrender plan dies instantly. Carr waits until 3 a.m. The airfield is silent. A skeleton crew on night watch. No movement near the revetment. He goes. 80 yards of open ground. No cover. If anyone looks his way, he's dead. Carr crosses the distance in 40 seconds, crouched low, every step sending white-hot pain through his twisted ankle. Up close, the FW-190 is bigger than he expected. Wingspan, 34 feet. Length, 29. Empty weight, 7,000 pounds. Nearly a ton heavier than a Mustang. The cockpit sits high, shielded by thick armored glass. The massive BMW 801 dominates the nose, a 14-cylinder, air-cooled radial pushing 1,700 horsepower. This is Germany's premier fighter. Carr climbs onto the wing. The canopy isn't locked. He slides it back and drops into the cockpit. The first thing he realizes is immediate and absolute. He can't read a single thing. Every label is in German, every gauge, every switch. Gothic script he can't read. The second realization comes fast. The cockpit is tighter than a Mustang's. His knees press hard against the instrument panel. The stick fits his right hand. Throttle on the left. Some things are universal. Carr checks the sky. About 4 hours until sunrise. He uses all of them. He traces wiring with his fingers, matches gauges by position. Airspeed, top left. Altimeter, top center. Engine instruments, clustered on the right. He finds the fuel selector, the magnetos, the propeller control. Now the problem that matters, the starter. On the right side of the cockpit, he finds a T-shaped handle with German lettering. One word looks familiar. Starter. He pulls it. Nothing. He pushes it. A rising mechanical whine fills the cockpit. An inertia starter spins up like a wound spring. Carr waits. 10 seconds. 20. Then he pulls the handle again. The BMW 801 coughs, catches, and detonates into life. The sound is thunderous, violent, impossible to hide. Every German on the airfield hears it. Carr doesn't hesitate. Throttle forward. The FW-190 surges ahead. The tail lifts almost instantly, nose heavy, eager, aggressive. Through the gray pre-dawn haze, Carr aims straight between two hangars as ground crews spill out, shouting, pointing. 90 miles per hour. Carr pulls back. The Fu-190 leaps off the ground, clearing the hangar roofs by inches. Bruce Carr is airborne, inside a stolen German fighter, 200 miles behind enemy lines. Now comes the hard part. He drops to treetop height, 50 feet, 280 miles per hour. Too low for radar, too fast for flak. A gray blur screaming west. For 45 minutes he flies like that. Then he crosses the front lines, and everything tries to kill him again. Allied anti-aircraft gunners see exactly what they expect to see. A German FW-190 racing low toward friendly positions. They open fire. Carr goes lower, faster, 20 feet, hedge-hopping. Every gun in France seems to reach for him. Ahead, an airfield comes into view. There's XT-6, Conte, France. One last problem. The landing gear won't deploy. Carr doesn't argue with the airplane. He makes the call. Belly landing. The FW-190 slams into the grass at 90 miles per hour, skids 300 yards, and screeches to a halt in a cloud of dirt and smoke. Silence. Carr is alive. Military police surround the aircraft, rifles leveled. The canopy slides back. A mud-covered American climbs out. "I'm Captain Carr of this goddamn squadron." No one believes him. Not until the commanding officer arrives. The story spreads instantly. The only American pilot who took off in a P-51 Mustang and came back in a Focke-Wulf Fw-190. But Bruce Carr's war is far from over. April the 2nd, 1945. 4 P-51 Mustangs encounter 60 German fighters. Carr doesn't hesitate. He attacks. The fight lasts 3 minutes. When it's over, 5 enemy aircraft are falling out of the sky because of Bruce Carr. His wingmen destroy 10 more. Not a single American is lost. 4 pilots, 15 victories. For that action, Carr receives the Distinguished Service Cross. By the end of the war, he has flown 172 combat missions and claimed 14, possibly 15, aerial victories. The exact number doesn't matter. What matters is this: he survived when most did not. And he isn't finished. Carr fights again in Korea, then again in Vietnam. 3 wars, 3 generations of aircraft, 1 pilot. He retires from the United States Air Force as a colonel. Bruce Ward Carr dies in 1998 and is laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery. His headstone is simple. It does not mention the night he stole a German fighter and flew it home. Some stories are too large for stone. Bruce Carr spent his life facing impossible odds and asking a single question: what else can I do?